Okay, hello dear friends, good afternoon, such a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. It's a little bit cold outside and it's just perfect for reading a book in this cold winter afternoon, right? And this book is Homer's The Iliad and retold by Gillian Cross and illustrated by Neil Packer. I put the link under the description of this video, and I think I borrowed from the library, and I think it's a good book, so I would like to read it, and we can all enjoy something from such a beautiful beautiful story, or a little bit sad story. Yeah, there's a full emotion of story, but it's a fascinating story. The wonderful armor Achilles was watching from behind the wall. When he saw the Greeks running towards him, he knew it meant disaster. Patroclus, he thought. What happened to Patroclus? It wasn't long before he found out. Antilochus came racing along the line of ships with tears steaming down his face. Patroclus is dead, he wailed. Hector has taken your armor, and now the Trojans are trying to carry off Patroclus' body. Achilles was distraught. He fell to the ground, tearing at his hair, and throwing dirt over his head, terrified that he would injure himself. Antilochus caught hold of his hands to restrain him. The women inside Achilles' hut had heard the news as well. Even though they were slaves, even though Achilles and Patroclus had captured them, they were overcome with the same terrible grief. Throwing themselves on the ground beside Achilles, they began to weep for Patroclus. Achilles cried out in anguish, and his shrieks reached his mother, Thetis, under the ocean. Recognizing his voice, he began to weep too, swimming up to the surface with a crowd of sea nymphs around her. What is it, my son? He called to Achilles. Zeus has done what you asked. The Greeks have been driven back behind the wall and penned up among their ships. What new sorrow troubles you now? Patroclus is dead, wailed Achilles. I loved him more than any other man in the world. Now he is gone, and my life is over. There is nothing left for me except revenge. I am going out to kill Hector. Cities began to cry again. Then your life really will be over. That's your destiny. Once Hector is dead, you won't have long to live. I don't deserve to go on living, Achilles said fiercely. I should have protected Patroclus, but I let myself be distracted by a stupid quarrel. My honor is lost forever unless I kill Hector. Don't go yet, pleaded Thetis. You've lost all your armor. Let me go to Hephaestus up on high Olympus. I'll ask him to make you new armor, fit for a god. Please wait for that. It can be ready by tomorrow morning. Hephaestus. I think Hephaestus is one of the one that I really, I just so fascinated by Hephaestus. He's one of the ugly one in Greek gods. I think this is one of the reasons that I just have something very, a connection. Reluctantly, Achilles nodded, and Thetis set out at once, flying as fast as she could. As soon as she had gone, Iris appeared beside Achilles with an urgent message from Hera. Get up, she said. Can't you see what's happening? Menelaus is trying to bring Patroclus' body back here, but Hector is determined to have it as a trophy. He's nearly caught Menelaus. Do you want to see your friend's head stuck on a pole and the rest of him flung to the dogs? Oh my, what can I do? Achilles said wildly. I can't go into battle without armor. Go to the trench, said Iris. If you show yourself to the Trojans, they might hesitate for a moment. That would give Menelaus time to reach the ships. Achilles leaped up and ran towards the wall, bursting through the gates. He stood on the edge of the trench, facing the Trojan army. Athena flew down to help, enfolding him in her power so that his whole body blazed with light. In a huge voice, Achilles bellowed his terrible war cry. When they heard it, the Trojans were paralyzed. With fear, they stopped dead, and their horses tugged frantically at the chariot reins, trying to turn back to the safety of the city walls. Again, Achilles shouted, and then for a third time his body shone like a beacon, and the Trojans stood stunned, unable to move. That gave the Greeks the breathing space they needed. Menelaus and Meriones hurled Patroclus' body through the gates, setting it down on a stretch. Weeping bitterly, Achilles went to look at the dead face of his friend. He stood there, staring at the body, while the sun went down. Hastily, the Trojans retreated from the war. Some of them longed to rush back inside the city, out of Achilles' reach, but Hector wouldn't agree to that. "I'm not afraid of Achilles," he said. "If he decides to fight, I will go and meet him, and maybe I will kill him. Who knows how the battle will end?" He ordered the Trojans to camp on the plain again. They lit their fires and settled down to eat. But the Greeks spent the whole night weeping for Patroclus as they washed the blood and the dirt from his battered body. Meanwhile, Thetis was hurrying to find Hephaestus, the lame god who could work wonders with all kinds of metal. He had made his own palace out of the finest bronze, and it shone like a star as Thetis flew towards it. But Hephaestus wasn't lazing around in luxury. When Thetis found him, he was hard at work pumping the bellows to heat his forge. He was making 23-legged tables for banquets on Olympus. They were no ordinary tables. He had made them with wheels and designed them to move by themselves. When the gods gathered to feast, the tables would roll to the banquet hall, and when the feast was over, they would roll back to Hephaestus' house again, without anyone to push them. Whoa. The forge was glowing red when Thetis arrived. Hephaestus was just about to fit the table with ornamental handles as a finishing touch. But when he saw Thetis, he stopped work immediately. He never forgot that she had saved his life. When he was born, his mother, Hera, had seen his crooked foot and rejected him. But Thetis had taken pity on him and carried him into her cave. She had brought him up while he learned how to work with metal. So when Hephaestus was born, it's kind of a competition or jealousy or just a family problem between Hera and Zeus. Hera is the wife of Zeus, and Zeus made children without Hera. Made Athena, made Apollo, made Artemis, and Hera made her own baby without Zeus, with someone or by herself. Anyway, Hera gave birth to Hephaestus, and Hephaestus, when he was born, his foot had some problem, kind of. If this is the foot, we walk like this, but his foot was a little bit crooked. And so Hera, the mother, kind of disliked and wanted to throw, did not want Hephaestus, and cities adopted or kept or raised Hephaestus. That's the story of it. So now he ushered her into his palace, calling for food and wine, and his maid servants hurried to obey him. They looked and sounded exactly like real girls, but they weren't human. Hephaestus had made them in his workshop out of purest gold, and they kept his palace running perfectly. So Hephaestus was not good looking, one of the most ugly Greek god, but he was one of kind of an underdog of the Greek gods. He walked. Instead of just enjoying the luxury life in the heaven, he walked. He was the best carpenter. He was the best blacksmith. He made a robot. He made computer-generated objects. He made a robot that looks like girl, but not a real human. And he used a special programming language. Let's call it alpha, beta, gamma, 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 blues, blues, blues language. Anyway, he was very, very intelligent, from a humble place, from a good place, but into a humble situation, and then made his life out of pure talents, hard work. That's the moral I really admire. So, in a sense, Hephaestus is one of my admired Greek gods. Or too much of myself. Oh no, I mean too much of my input of this story. Okay. What can I do for you? He asked, pouring Thetis a cup of wine. Whatever you need, it's yours. Your wish is my command. Thetis burst into tears. My son Achilles is going mad with grief. The Trojans have killed his friend Patroclus, and Achilles can't go out to avenge him. He lent his armors to Patroclus, and Hector captured it. Don't cry, said Hephaestus. I will make him some new armor, the best there is ever been in the whole wide world. Hephaestus loyal to cities, hardworking, not good looking. This is my true hero, irreplaceable. Leaving the cities in the palace, he went back to his forge and began immediately. Setting the bellows to work, he melted his strongest bronze and prepared a cubicle full of tin. He fetched gold and silver too, and then picked up a hammer in one hand and a pair of tongs in the other. Standing at his anvil, he began work on the armor. First, he made a fine, strong shield adorned with human figures that almost seemed to move. He put the sun, moon, and star in the center of the shield and decorated the rim. Then he made a breastplate that blazed like fire and a helmet adorned with gold. Finally, he hammered out tin greaves to protect Achilles' leg and polished the armor until it shone brightly. When it was all finished, he gathered it up and took it to Cities. She thanked him and flew off at once, swooping down like a falcon from the snowy heights of Mount Olympus. Leg, arm, knife, spear,